Hey Rebels. All right, let's talk about balance. This month we're all about balance, and here's why I wanted it for December. This is the time of year where it's like the calm before the storm, and the storm is the coming. And I'm not even talking about the busyness and the craziness of the holidays. I'm talking about come January when you want to start making all these New Year's resolutions and all these changes, and you're planning for your year, and you're picking your words, and you're releasing stuff you don't need and adding stuff you want. When you get to this time of year, it's important to run a check. It's important to make sure that you are balanced in your life and that you're bringing in energy and putting out energy at an even level. And I'm doing like the Dr. Evil quote fingers when I say even, because I want to explain what that means. It doesn't mean that you have to, every time you do something that takes energy out of you, that you have to do something equal to go back in. It doesn't really work that way. So I want to explain how it does work and show you how you can keep sort of a register of how much energy is going out and how much energy is coming back in. So let's look at this. So think of it like the register that comes with your checks, right? Do you use checks anymore? Do people still use checks? I think I have like 2 bills that I pay with checks. The rest is all online. But hopefully you remember when you're balancing your checkbook and you're writing things in, it comes with a register. Or if you do any kind of accounting, so you have a list of debits and credits, right? And there's not, you're not making sure that the amount that you have like 10 debits and 10 credits, that part's equal. That's not where you get balance in your checkbook. What you're looking for is to make sure that there's enough in there to cover, or more than enough cover what has to go out, right? And so that's how I want you to think about your energy levels. That's how I want you to think about energy in the sense of like having energy throughout the day, and then energy in the sense of what you're giving to other people. So if you are like most empaths and you're always giving stuff away, doing things for other people, serving people, it's really easy to become depleted quickly because we tend to have a little trouble receiving. We tend to have a little trouble turning that back on us and taking care of us. It's just how we're designed, right? So we have to do this extra work to check this. Now, if you're an empathic person who loves to help people, doing things for other people, like serving other people, does give you back something, all right? When you do something kind for someone else, you do get something back, but not at equal proportion. And it's not, I love it when people say this where they're like, no, I think I get more from giving. No, you don't. You don't, right? And you don't energetically, at least. Emotionally, maybe you do, but energetically, you do not. You give away a lot more than you take back in. So you do take a little bit in. So let's say it was $100, like if we're comparing dollars to energy, let's say you gave away $100 worth of energy. Just for giving it away, you probably got $5 back. Okay, so if you think of it that way, you are getting a little back, but there needs to be more that you're putting in. And this needs to go into all the areas of your life, not just into work or just into home or just into your kids. Like it has to go in and throughout all the parts and all the pieces. Okay, so let's say you're some kind of a healer. So you do some kind of work all day long where you help heal other people. What you need to be doing is putting into that account, balancing that by putting into yourself. Okay. Now that doesn't just mean like go soak in a bubble bath and meditate for 4 hours. That might be part of it. But what you need to be doing is putting more information, more skills, more love, more rest, more care into you so that you can put that back into other people. Whatever you're specifically giving out, you have to put back in. If you're someone who, let's say you got a bunch of kids, you got like 30 kids running around that you are taking care of all day, every day. What you're giving to them is nurturing and love and care. Then that's what you need to be giving to yourself on a higher level. But we sort of look at it like, well, I meditated yesterday and I did yoga on Thursday. So that's equal to me now going and doing my job for 40 hours. And it isn't. All right. What are you doing at your job? What specifically are you giving away? I'm in the self-help industry, right? Like I'm giving away knowledge, and I'm using my intuition and giving that information away. So guess what? I have to make sure I focus really hard on giving back to myself. That, right? I have to make sure that that's also coming in, so I have it to give at a high level. Look at all the areas of your life. Make a list. You should have at least 5 things on that list for the different areas. And look at what you give out and specifically say, what kind of energy is that? Is that healing energy? Is it caring energy? Is it loving energy? What is it? If you're a nurse, you're giving away a lot of care, right? And whatever that is, how do you put that back in after you've given it away? What do you do? Now, if you work for, 40 hours a week, I'm not asking you to put that back in for 40 hours a week. I'm asking you to make sure that you're making a deposit every week to cover what you're putting back out, and have different tools and ways to do that. So we're going to talk more about that all month, but I really want you thinking that way. Like, look at what you're giving out, look at what you're doing, look at what specifically you're giving. This past weekend, I went to New York for the Mama Gina, who is the woman who wrote the book Pussy. She did a weekend, it was a 2-day sort of retreat style thing, where you learned about stuff from the School of Womanly Arts and the Divine Feminine, and how to really like get to the next level in your life. And so the thing that I really struck me when I was there is that oh my gosh, I feel recharged. I feel like I have so much more new stuff, and I feel energized, and I'm so excited to go give this back to my people. But without doing that, what's going to happen over time is you're going to lose that enthusiasm and excitement for what you're doing if you're not consciously putting it back in. So think about that. Make your lists, look and say, what am I doing to deposit this back in? And is that enough to cover me? And for how long will that cover me? And for how much do I need to do that? It'll always need adjusting and tweaking, but if you can look at it like that energetically, you're going to really notice a big difference. All right, so do that and report back how it goes. Bye.